We all know security cameras aren't that good. They ain't that clear.
Listen, I'm the one and only. One and only. 나머지는 없이 별 볼래. Keep ballin'. Listen, I'm the one and only. Natural is that shit.
Hi everybody, my name is Jessica Holyfield. I'm a professional dancer, professional dance choreographer, and dance educator based out of the southeast of the United States. And we're going to be taking a look at BOYNEXTDOOR's one and only. We're going to be looking at the music video and then the dance practice. Normally what I do is I look at the dance practice first, see the content, and then I see the music video. But I was advised that the music video would be better to look at first. So I'm very excited to take a look at this because I've already seen their first one and I really enjoyed the concept they chose to pursue. So I'm curious what's going to bleed over into this one. So without further ado, let's go ahead and check it out.
BOYNEXTDOOR.
Hey, get it. They're next door.
Representing KOZ.
Representing KOZ. I really like their discography so far. Yo, is that like a vintage store? The sturdies, I swear to you, the amount of sturdying that I have seen. That was a cool shot. That's fun. They got a little NPC energy right there. Cute. Look at that Dick's Sporting Goods. I'm so curious where they shot this one too. Watch them like shoot this mess at like Virginia. That's fun. We all know security cameras aren't that good. They ain't that clear. Oh, those shoes. Who's there? It's the boys from next door. Fun! That was a fun little moment right there. It's cute. Very cute. Part of me really wanted to see who all was dancing in this. I don't think I really recognize anybody. Interesting, this is really fun. I think it's time to take a look at the dance practice, don't you? We get a door. I'll take a door. Word up. Nice. I really love the choreo when it's syncopated to a rhythm like that. I love that type of rhythm pattern for sure. This gives off Boys and Girls, which is Zico's track that he did with Babylon. But not the same thing, it's in the same family. Ah, there's that sturdy. I really like this. This is really fun. Nice. Their spacing seems to look a little bit better in this one. We'll see though. Maybe too soon to tell. We'll see. Some of the hip ranges are a little bit different there. Fun. I think they could have added a level to that because normally when you have the type of rotation. Oh, there goes our spacing issue. BoyneXTDOOR got too much space discrepancies. This is so fun. It's fun. Some of these grooves that they're doing, it's a very interesting pattern, like how they're connecting them is very interesting. Who's there? I don't know. Oh look. This is really fun. I really like this visual. It's super, super fun. This was very fun. I am vibing with this concept, and because the track really takes a different approach in what kind of production is in those layers. I really like it because you're not gonna, the overlap of the content does not come across so replicated. Does that make sense? Within the group, like whenever you see some of these movements with other groups, that's a little bit different. You could tell we're kind of vibing in the same era. Totally fine, but they have to be very mindful, just like what I mentioned before with psychers. It's if you have tracks that have similar timbres or similar vibes, which these two tracks so far, they're in the same family, but they're not in the same house. Does that make sense? Like they like one's on a business trip. It's kind of what kind of area it's giving. I don't quite know how else to word it, but all that to say, they did do a very good job, even though we saw a little bit of sturdy that we saw in the first one. It was more of a shoot, but they did a very obvious sturdy variant, but it was a variant. And I appreciate that because sometimes whenever you see moves not varied or polyrhythmicized or modified or progressed, in any way, it does date the routine a lot more than if you didn't have the move at all. But I also understand that it adds this level of virality to the social media platform, because I know that's a factor in a lot of this choreo nowadays. But also it shows a sense of relevancy to people, and in sense of like, I can obtain doing this choreo too. Hence why it would make it more viral. But from the top here, I really like the uses of the door. And I'm just a fan of the color of the door too. Actually, the pants from the last routine that I looked at were the same color. So I just like the color. You know, you could probably just put that on a t-shirt, probably want it. If it's a ball cap, I'll probably take it. But what's funny is I don't really wear that color. I did have my hair color that color before though, so each thrown. From the top, I love this right here. He opens it. Who is it? BoyneXTDOOR. Nah, 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 nah. Now, when you operate with the prop, my note here is something that they can learn to be better at, because I've seen it every time we've had an interaction with the door, is when you have people that are teetering towards the outside of the frame, you want to keep the visual, so you want to avoid having people hang out here and hang out here. Having like a hand on the frame's a little different than like your body not being behind the door. Does that make sense? I saw it a couple of times, like right here, you just see it just a smidge. It's fine there, but you like really saw about half his body out. I love that they're all running through that right there too. You saw one of them in like that, not periwinkle, but like that bluish purple fit. It's just as they come out, I think it's really important that we make sure that we keep the visual of the idea with the prop relevant, because that's what's going to really enhance the captivation of using the prop. We're aware that you're behind the prop. We're aware you're not disappearing behind it, but it's still really nice to give the illusion, just like a lot of techniques that you use, you're not breaking your neck, but it looks like you are because of the illusion of a head ISO. That's kind of my point. With a lot of props, that's kind of the goal. So that's just my general note for them there. And I like the energy. I like how he was sitting. They're all framing around, but take a look here. The door is going to be your center for this. And because our boys next door, their chronic thing that we're seeing is their spacing and their formations, not their content. So it's very different for me to actually focus on formations more so than content and range. That's normally my go-to chronic thing. But they, because of the concept that they ride on, they kind of found a loophole to get around that because they're able to show competency of the craft without doing too much unison. Because they don't really do a lot of unison. There's a lot of individual choices, but it worked for the concept. So I don't have any issues with it as much as if there's a concept that part of the goal is to showcase the craft in the cleanliness side. Of course you want to be clean, but like part of the concept justification is cleanliness, then that would be a different story. Here it's not. It's very communal, and in community a lot of times you strive to want to be yourself, and being yourself means that you're clumsy, a bit messier, not as refined, hence why those types of mistakes work actually well for this concept. But going here, notice these two guys are closer than these two guys. So my suggestion would be these two would need to just come out just a smidge. They could still be by the door, but we want to use this framework here. We want there to be even spacing between one group and the other group, and that's not happening. Regardless of your posture and position, I do like the choice of alternating between the high and the low, and then having our lowest be our feature, and then we also have one missing. I really love what they're about to do here, which is kind of extend the jacket. They look down. Their head, great usage of head placement to showcase where they want us to look. They look to him, we see a jacket, bingo, love it. They take it, they're like, hey, what's up? He goes and puts it on, bring it through, close the door. I love it. That right there is really great. He closes it, and they have people covering him. Totally fine. He pulls it, somebody else joins him, they go boom and a switch. Really like that. And I will give props to our individual here. He made it a thing. You know, you don't want to just move it for the sake of moving the prop. He moved it, and then he made it like a breaking the fourth wall. Wow, that was tiring. Like it was intentional and a part of the set. And I always appreciate whenever we recognize those things because it showcases that even though they're off doing their own thing with the door, they're still very much a part of the equation, or they're a part of the family of what's being presented here. They're really justifying their concept in all fronts, not just in what they want us to see. And so I'm very appreciative of that. So having this here, they go boom. Notice whenever they had this motion, they all were teetering and playing with a couple different levels. They were subtle, but it was effective, and it was really nice to see. He goes woo, and then there's that sturdy, bless it. So that's gonna date this routine by having the sturdy in there because it's a very, very viral situation nowadays. And I would always placate, just know where things come from, because the sturdy, it did not just, I mean, it originated from somewhere. Do you know what I mean? Like I think there was a conversation where I was talking about, was it with somebody said that the sturdy was in reference, there's something with punking where that was a thing in punking or in Vogue. I don't, once again, I only go off of the information that I'm given, and so I need to do more research and due diligence on it, but that proves my point of there is information out there, you just have to know where to look. And so that would just be my thing. When you do have viral moves in your sets, I just hope that we understand that it's not just a viral move for the sake of TikTok or for the sake of making it relevant to the viral side of things, that we actually understand where things come from. Because even in my you know what, hold on, because we're on the topic, let me just go do a little research real quick. Okay, guys, I went digging. So I got like a whole little thing right here. Okay, Get Sturdy. Get Sturdy is actually a variant from the Woo Walk, and that was made popular by Pop Smoke. And the original Sturdy was probably like around 2017-ish, you know, with other tracks, but it's in reference to drill music, and it really was developed, the new Sturdy, in the Bronx and Brooklyn to drill music, which is a subgenre of trap music that was developed in the 2010s in Chicago. Now, so there's like a whole bunch, there's so many things that are derived with the Get Sturdy, just like there's certain, like, there's certain things or variants within the Get Sturdy, like, or of the woo walk, that if you put them in the same phrasing, you can start issues, because certain developed, like certain people who created certain variants of the woo walk or the Get Sturdy, they were a part of different gangs. And so if you put somebody who created this Get Sturdy variant with this Get Sturdy variant and put them together, but they from different gangs, we're gonna have problems. But nowadays it's a little bit more like to each their own. But that was, there's culture, there's foundation, there's so much depth behind moves like that, like what we just talked about. Because you just saw a little bit of my ignorance a little bit earlier, which is why I just stopped and just took a little deep dive, just so I can actually be effective and helpful in this video. So all that to say, know where things come from, because that can honestly either really enhance what they're doing or just help you just be mindful of, is this just because of the era that they're in, or is there something deeper? This song is not a drill song. It's not a subgenre of trap or anything. I already looked it up. It's more on the rock side. So if it was more on the drill and the trap, then actually it would be very effective, the choice that they made to go with the sturdy. Does that make sense? That's kind of my point. It helps justify movements through, like, music helps justify movements a lot of times, especially when there's a cultural background behind them, especially if there's a sense of virality behind it too. It makes it more tasteful. So moving on from there, going through here, I really like the placements here, having your next feature branch up and go through, pulling through. I love that pull, do-do-do, which is enjoyable, with a face, bringing it through right there. That right there, that was like a one happy feet. So it just showed like a little fingerprint, but they didn't do the exact same thing that they did the first time. And the groove was more down versus out that they saw there. They used it as just a placeholder. Dropping it down, except for one of our guys. I love that they all dropped. It was really great there. Pulling it through, bringing it around. Range was a little bit off there. Some of them turn a little bit faster than others. One of them comes through. They all swing. He has his moment. That kick was impressive. Bringing it through, diving it down. Notice that some of them are placing their weight a little, like some of them are really placing it in that back foot. Some are kind of switching between the two. He's putting it mostly in both. He's really catering to this side. Most of them are catering to that left foot. So that's why I would just say he needs to place his weight more onto this foot. Because look, his positioning of his body is way more on towards his front leg. And that makes him look different than everybody else. I mean, I would say for him, he's even... normally you see like birds fly together, like you have two people kind of being off compared to everybody else because they're right next to each other. That's just a little note there. Yeah, da-da-da, 4-7 right here. Switching up the feet right there. It's nice, I enjoy it. Dipping it through. Love that pull, that drop of the level to right back up, new feature. Yeah, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Really enjoyable to see that here. Diving it through, do-do-do-do. Love it. But if you look, where's everybody's heads for that part? Yeah, everybody looks up with the chin. I love that. Da-da-da. Go to a new spot. I love, once again, just a nice little interaction showcasing that they do see each other. Everybody exists. And everybody pulls. Who's not a part of those two, they pull to the outside, and then they bring it back in. Listen, I'm the one and only. This was fun. Boom, do-da-do-do-do. Head. Very nice, syncopated, simple, effective. Head down, really nice. I mean, we've talked about it before. If you have a group that doesn't really think through the details 100% of the way, those types of moments are not going to work. Here, it works because they've already demonstrated in the beginning where their head goes. It shows me that their head matters in the direction of where they want me to look as a spectator or somebody watching. So it's important for us to really take note of that and appreciate that whenever they choose to do it in focal point choreo such as this. Because they have their head there, boom, boom. It makes me want to be more mindful of that and see that, oh, we're a little bit more on the cheerier side because of that. Like you just registered a little bit more, but also you can tell whenever they don't do it either. So notice here, look, the only person looking at us is our feature. Really great call there. They're panning it out, bring it back in, they throw it, they go here. There's your little get sturdy moment right there. But they do it as a kick, keep balling. So their wordplay is on kick. So they're kicking, and that's a really nice way to syncopate the kick. So it doesn't bother me that the sturdy is there. It just dates it if they do it the traditional, typical viral way, but how they kicked it, they added a little like pike variant in there. So that variant doesn't really bother me. Like, honestly, they've done a fabulous job on just showing symptoms of dating the routine, but not doing the full like, ooh, this is gonna bite them later, you know, when they look back and be like, oh, this is totally screams 2022, 2023, you know. So that's just my little note there. Sliding it in. I love the energy of them walking through, sliding, and I love that the very quick slide to reset. That was cool. I love that they take it, they close the door, back in, and the pulling of the shirts was a really fun gimmick. Our featured pulling around and everybody responding to that. Really great choice. They all turn. Sliding back in, boom, ooh, wah. Notice I go slow. And there's something I've already said in their previous choreography. It's a sense of syncopation where they kind of bleed through between their different variants, which is really, really fun. But also it just makes it's deceptive too. Like if you don't know what you're looking at, because for me, because I analyze content and part of my job is cleaning choreography for competitions, which is refining or basically what I'm doing here, but I tell the kids themselves, you know. So it would be like if I was at Hive and they're doing this in front of me and I have a clipboard and I just make notes and then I just sit there and say, okay, go to this formation, and then I make them run it, and then I tell them like in person, hey, this exact thing. So so anyway, my point is this, is that they do a very good job of there's like this tension, push and pull that's taking place within the syncopation of the track, because doom, 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 like they go slow to fast. You run into a higher risk of people not being in the right range, because synchronicity is a lot of times is in multiple categories of breaking it down, where you could look at the timing, so like the actual moves, and then how you get from one move to another. And it's not a transition, it's how you go from here to here, how fast or how slow you get from those points by the count. So that's where dynamics and texture come in too. But that's really nice to see this. They bring it through. Oh, my point was, it does look deceptive, and it is, because like I said, their range is modified throughout the movements. Normally you have people ride the whole counts or the and counts, but they go boom, 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 and they ride a layer. So it provides a really nice rhythm that helps, it helps enhance it and make it a little bit different than something simple. But if you don't know what you're looking for, you may feel like you're off, because you are off, because they're not going on the solid counts. They're going and they're pulling, and then they're going and doing a speed change right in the middle of it, I think was my point. So that's honestly, it's really fun. I love seeing that. One and only. I love that energy. Walking through, we're walking, get it, love it. He has this moment. I'm glad they kept this in the music video. I think my note here, this does give NPC energy. So an NPC is a non-playing character. And in animation now, because animation is branched off into kind of its own community and culture, NPC is kind of a sub-branch off of animation, where you can kind of play, and part of your animation technique can be looking like an NPC. So I really do like seeing this here. It's fun, it's playful, but you got to make sure everybody's on the same page. This is where cleanliness matters, right? Because of what they're doing in the context of the movement that they're doing. And one of our guys, his arms are not on the same page as everybody else's. The feet are only half the equation. It's how you carry your posture in the upper half. He's great. He's allowed to take a very pedestrian role about it. But these guys, because they're choosing to go NPC vibes, because it's how they're carrying their posture for the most part, they have to be held accountable to the standard of when you have a group doing it, right? And they switch, boom, boom, and they drop it down. Spacing was just slightly off between our two guys with a feature. And then they switch it, boom, doo, doo, doo. Notice the range of the angle of how they were doing it was a little different. With the brush downs, which is nice. I love the switch through. That was a little tone wop twist, bringing it up. So there's like, we're seeing some light feet overlap in this too. Yeah, that right there, the little hops. I wouldn't even call it a tone wop twist. It just has that kind of jump rope, double dutch kind of vibes about that. The digging it through, I love that. That groove was really nice to see, bringing it through nice with a jack, with the little shoulders, taking the feet, boom, head, da-da-da. Like I said, their head details are really nice, because it helps me. It's just, you end up appreciating the full picture more, because they're investing energy here, not just in the body. It gets neglected a lot of times. Let me also say this. When you train in front of a mirror, you can tell dancers who are very comfortable in the choreography that they're given, because they don't look front the whole time. No, it's not a sense of projection or presentation. You get in a habit whenever you look at yourself in the mirror, whenever you're doing the choreo, you kind of built in this muscle memory of doing the choreo, of isolating the head to the front. So whenever you see people actually look at the hand and look away, they're trusting everybody else around them, but they're also allowing, it just shows a sense of maturity of your movement. And that's why I really care about where head placement is. it's just, you're able to see how much they've trained in the choreography or refining it. The fact that they're able to commit in the nuances so well together. And that's kind of my point too, which is why I make that a bigger deal than some of the other movies, like, is your arm out straight, things like that. This gets neglected a lot more than this does. And I think that's why I bring it up more. So having this here, I love this boom, 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 and he finishes it up where everybody started, and then they all pull it around, but notice not everybody's range is the same, so I would just refine it, because some of us are just a tad bit off, like right there, and then right here, he's already kind of in the middle, but these guys in the back are kind of setting it up a little bit more. So that's just my general note there. But because he was our feature, he kind of stayed up. That's absolutely fine, but even those that were framing him weren't on the same page on range. That's still my note there. Love that there. Boom with a knock knock. Love that. But look at the spacing. Ah! Yep, spacing's just a little bit off right there. Just a little note there. Sliding it in, we got it fixed. And notice with the arms though, if you see here, some of them have it a little bit wider, some have it a little bit higher. So I would say my feature needs to have his just a little bit higher. It's going to look cleaner. It's just a note there. I love that bump, bump, bottom, and then they drop it down. Switch and ding, 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 but they keep it really nice polyrhythm, simple but effective. Simple does not mean easy. Simple just means easy for the eyes to digest, I think is the best way to word simplicity. That was fun to see too, but notice some of them chose to add a little bit more energy in the lower half of the body. So I would say they need to be very clear in the range of the chest as well as the range of the hips as they do that. Diving it through, I love that little chug motion. It's really nice. It makes it very full. But once again, spacing is off here. Look right here. There is no one registering over in this window or in this part of the line. Here to here, it's really nice. But we do see, I don't quite know. Somebody needs, it's just a little off because it's either these two guys are too far apart or they're too close together because we have somebody directly behind. So we're not doing a 3-part, it's not like a 3-layered formation. Yeah. So that's just my overall note. Yeah, that we have a huge spacing issue right here. But then we got it fixed. Here the tail end, bringing it back in. Really nice back into the column. Very nice. Also, let me say this. This is something I mentioned in another video, but I'm going to mention it here. So I know some people, whenever I pause, they are transitioning. It is important if you have a mirror. And what I mean by a mirror is somebody that shares the opposite. They are maintaining symmetry of a formation on the opposite side of you. So if you're here and there's somebody here and there's like your feature in the middle, when you two are supposed to transition, it is important that you guys go and do what you need to do at the same rate in order for it to look clean in your transitions. Just because your formation is good, if your transitions are not clean, it's not going to help your formations at all. Does that kind of make sense what I'm saying? So I'm saying like transitions matter a lot more than people give them credit for, just like head placement matters a lot more than people give it credit for. So that's my in general note. I don't see it as much in this one, but I do think we are showing symptoms of it because the spacing is off in the formations. Listen, I'm the one and only right here. A different person in the center. I like that they all looked a slightly different direction. That was really fun. And we switched from our group and they just kind of did a mini rotation in the back. That was really cute. Hitting it around, boom, da-da-dum. Personally for me, I think our guy, I know we're trying to see everybody here, but I think my guy should have gone to the back because it would have felt like it would have felt more full in the depth. Because even though we can't like see, like we can see him here and we wouldn't have been able to see him going to the back, but we would have been able to feel the frame be more full in the back of the feature, and I think that would have been really beneficial for this moment because they immediately come back in. I think that's just my in general note. Yep, yeah, kick, 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 really nice with the kick to finish it off. Ballin', kind of their own thing. Their marches, they're kind of doing their own thing with their arms because their lower half was in check, the upper body looked fine. For that, and then having your new feature, that chug, chug, really nice to see. Actually, it wasn't a chug, it was like a really quick slide. Speed change slide, which was nice. Yeah, and we're right there back into what we've kind of already seen, but the formation's a lot cleaner here. I do like seeing that. Throwing it down. Notice one of our guys, his range of his arm was just slightly a little bit more muted than some of the other guys, so he would use his back to help with that. That right there, those hinges, notice those hinges were just slightly off. Here's why they're off. Because some of them are choosing to hop or their weight's in the wrong place. You have to put your weight near the mid to the back part of your foot in order to hinge for the counterbalance of the torso. Here he has his weight in the balls of the feet. Here's how you can tell there's a gap in the heel. So what happens is he has to do like a double bounce, which is why these two guys look very different. So that would be my note. I would say because of the type of hinge it is and he's up, you want to cater that weight to the mid to the back part of the foot in order to make that hinge work in the down bounce that you want to hit. Nice with the kicks. I wouldn't call that a shuffle. Really, it's just a kick step touch. And really nice to have that energy. And we all transition. Now, here is where we got to be careful. Look, we still see someone. And I know it's hard with the door, but you want to make them, you want to really make a really nice clean line so we can focus on what visual they want us to happen. For me, what I'm seeing is, oh, somebody didn't fully go around the back. I know we're expecting to open this door. Open, and I want it to be a surprise. And he goes and they have this moment, la, 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 la. It's fun. This is enjoyable. And he's still, you notice, and then you kind of fix it a little bit, and then you still see him. And then they close it, new person, really love that. This is probably one of my favorite things I've seen somebody do with the door. It's just cute. Normally you see this in like a music video, which is what we saw, but you normally see it like a CGI modification of this. This is really, really fun. I love the fact that they use this in this way. He kicked him out, brought him back in. Kick him out, and the commitment of everybody, really nice to see. 2 and the 3, and I love how he went first. I don't know if they were all supposed to go at the same time. He went first, they all joined on the yay! Matched the music well. Keep balling, boom, boom. And the one and only drop it down, switch, and then with the switch. Notice some are kind of keeping it here. Some are really investing. Just making sure, are we going for a laid back approach or are we going for like that full throttle with the back? Diving it down, boom, notice with the hands. Some of them keep it right here on the mid, some keep them a little bit higher, regardless if you're a feature. I think for this type of thing, because everything has been showcasing is the exact same, that's really important that you want to keep everything in check here. Yep. Oh, and it's the ladies. That was nice. Very clear difference between what everybody was doing and what he was doing. So he's pushing. They're like, hey, with the hops. The hops are really cute. And then we go backwards to go back to kind of rotate the formation around. I like that. But he was a little bit off in that spot. He didn't quite rotate the exact time everybody else did. So look. That's fine. And hop. He kind of neutraled out going to the back versus fully rotating it. And you can tell based on the hop placement, not really his body placement, because he got off on the formation. Yep, and then we're still just tap it off on the formation right there. Bring it back in, one and only. Everyone's doing kind of their own thing. I am shocked nobody did the Arthur. I'm shocked nobody did that. That would have been hilarious. And you would have gotten a lot of millennial fans. I'm just saying that right now. That's funny. But I really like this choice, one and only. Of course, we have the little cross. What is it? My fingers cannot like actually move. I need to do some finger wave training. It has been highly neglected. But all in all, I really like the choices they made. They're all fun. But honestly, the only one who's different is him. Well, I know he's a little bit different, but he still has the rotation. So, he still has it. What did he do? Is it 1, 2? And then he did this. Okay, that's fine. I really like this. I really like this group because they are approaching a really nice gregarious tone in some of their concepts. Gregarious meaning more on the happier side. And I like that. It's really nice to see, and it does feel very youthful. And I think that's what they're kind of going across. But this one is different than their first one, which I think really worked in their favor for some of the choreography transitions between the two. So I really like this. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you want to see more Boys Next Door, there's a good chance that I have had them on Patreon for quite a little bit. And I tend to post everything that I make. And this was actually part of a Patreon request series. And it made me really excited to tackle it. And I feel that if you want to be a part of what happens to what I react to when I analyze, then Patreon would be a really, really great way to do that. I put most of my polls of what I react to goes on there first. And then I let YouTube know about it. But it's all in all, I'm very much come from a place where I really enjoy taking a look at groups, but looking at groups that you guys would actually want me to look at. I only have a couple of things where I just do because I personally want to, and I would say D-League's kind of the only thing right now. Everything else is I find enjoyment in these a lot. I really do. I feel like I learn a lot of new things, like what I did today with the sturdy. Like I really got to go deep in just to make sure that I was being effective in this analysis. And I think at the end of the day too, I feel like we all get to grow at the end of it. And so I think it's always nice to be able to take a look at groups where a lot of people enjoy and want to understand why they enjoy it, you know, because sometimes we never really know that. And that's something that is a lifelong journey for me. And I love being able to share what I found. And that allows you guys to open up the conversation too, and for us to have really great discussions about it. So, but yeah, I'm Jess, and I will catch you on the flip side. Bye.